What up? What up? What up? What up? It's your boy, Shawty Parker, back in the building. Just my damn opinion. You know they like assholes, and everybody got one, and your boy got one too. So with that being said, everybody knows I'm a big UGA fan. So I just had to come in here and do a reaction video to what happened, you know, last night. But I wanted to do this video earlier, but I needed some time to decompress. Rightfully so. I needed some time to decompress. And I want to try to do this with as much level headedness as I can. So with that being said, I'm gonna do a little housekeeping first. I want to say first of all, shout out to UGA, man. Another great season, another SEC championship. We got a playoff bid. That was dope. Cool. So shout out to UGA. And I didn't come in here to beat down on UGA. I really didn't. I didn't come down to beat down on UGA. Once again, I am a fan. But at the end of the day, you know, I got to give credit to, Notre Dame. I got to give credit to Notre Dame just for this because, like I said before, I kind of get into the minutia of things and stuff like that. I got to give them credit for what, no matter what, we count the W's and L's. They were able to come in and whatever you want to say, they was able to take advantage and capitalize on whatever and however the game went to get the win. So with that being said, shout out to some of my Notre Dame fans. I see one already in here. He's taking the win as a scholar and a gentleman, rightfully so. He's doing it with kindness, but he killing me with kindness. I see you, coach. I get it. He killing me with kindness, but shout out to you. Um, so yeah, with that being said, I'm gonna try to get into a few more things, but I gotta give credit to Notre Dame just first of all. I want that to be understood off bat. There are no excuses. So I want to make that be sure. And at this point, everything is moving forward, just like this show, just my opinion. I want to get into a few things. And the first thing I want to get into is, the physicality of the game. The one thing that, I hear this narrative that's going around is that, Notre Dame just came in and just bullied us. And I'm going to say part of that is true. I'm going to say part of that is true, but I'm going to say this just to be, in my opinion, to be honest and fair. I think both defenses were bullies. Both defensive lines, front sevens, bullied each other. So I just don't understand how, this whole narrative of Notre Dame just bullied us. No, our defense played just as good, if not better, than Notre Dame. I know the score doesn't say that, but this is definitely a game where the score doesn't, show the total game. Sooner Texas says, Shawty, you got to let Coach Royball have his moment. Oh yeah, for sure. That's why I spoke to that earlier. I shouted out Coach, and rightfully so. And like I said, he handled it like a gentleman and scholar. See, Coach, he's a veteran. He's done it. He's been there and done this, and he understands that possibly, it can be totally different this time next year. So he's going to take this moment and he's going to enjoy it. And he's saying more with less. So I understand it. And shout out to Coach. I get it. I get it. Respect, respect. And Coach, we are friends again now that the game is over. We are friends again. Um, look at that little silent dig. He's talking about he don't need a moment. I know you don't need a moment. But back to the physicality part of the game. Like I said, I think both defenses were very physical. Now, what I will say is I was impressed with the physicality of Notre Dame. One thing that they were able to do was, which I knew coming into the game, especially with our quarterback situation, they would play a lot of man to man and blitz. But they were able to beat us a lot one on one. And that's what surprised me. I thought at some point in time that our size of our offensive line would be able to wear them down. So I was thinking maybe late third quarter, fourth quarter, a lot of these running plays that we would be running would start to pay off. Because if you notice, I think they put out a statistic. I think Notre Dame averaged 280 across the front, 270 maybe across the front, something like that. and our offensive line was 350 plus. So I just thought we were going to be able to wear it down. So for them to be able to stay physical and play fast that whole game, that's what impressed me about. One thing I'm gonna say that impressed me about Notre Dame. So as a group, I was going to talk about players, but I think as a group, I think UGA defensive front and Notre Dame front stood out to me. Well, I knew what to expect from UGA. I think we played awesome up front. Our front seven played awesome. We did get caught sometimes, letting the quarterback, we didn't secure run lanes, but sometimes the defensive call dictates that. But I think UGA defensive front seven and Notre Dame, well, just the defense, both team defenses played outstanding. I'm just gonna say that without, you know, both played outstanding. But you got to get a nod to Notre Dame because they were able to create the one turnover that, well, not one, but the turnover that happened in that game that helped create points for their team. So you got to give them the nod. But overall, I thought both defenses played great. And then from an offensive standpoint, I thought both offenses, you know, I mean, there were moments on both sides of the ball. But in my opinion, I have to get a nod to UGA's defense. Again, I know the score doesn't say that, but just the way we were able to move the ball, we were able to hit some explosives. And then we had some shots, you know what I'm saying? Once again, no excuses that we missed. Drop balls, but that's been throughout the season. But still from an offensive standpoint, Garner was able to move our offense and put us in position to score points, and unfortunately it didn't happen. So from an offensive standpoint, I have to give a nod to UGA. But no, Notre Dame, no slight to Notre Dame. But I thought we was what happened. What happened? We was able to handle Notre Dame's offense, but that caveat was Riley Leonard, and it wasn't his arm, and it wasn't the running game. It was his legs. He was the running game. I think he had 14 carries for 86 yards or something like that. That was the running game. Then it came in pivotal moments where he moved the chain. You know what I'm saying. So with that being said, that's what I kind of expected, but I just kind of hope we would have prepared more for that because I didn't think why Leonard would beat us with his arm anyway. So that was kind of disappointing. So I'm gonna move on. The next thing I'm gonna talk about is coaching. I think both coaching staff did a great job, but I have to get a nod to Notre Dame. Again, Marcus Freeman impressed me. He did some things throughout the game, just as an example with the special teams call. That was impressive. I like that. The timing was impressive. Him having his coordinators use tempo with their 3-minute drive at halftime, that was impressive. What made it more impressive, I even put it in a group chat before it happened. We should have done that when we got the ball at 3 minutes and 44 seconds. I said this needs to be the last drive. Notre Dame should not get the ball back, and we should at least get 3 points, and nobody scores any points. I think it was 3-6 at that point, something like that. We got the ball, and we threw the ball 3 straight times and used maybe 15 seconds off the clock and gave Notre Dame the ball right back to drive the ball. And they went into their 3-minute offense, 4-minute offense, whatever you want to call it, and went right down, drove the ball, used all the clock, and got points. So to me, that was impressive on Marcus Freeman just from a coaching standpoint in times of using tempo and things like that. And there was another moment where he did, I think it was he wasn't going to, and that, blame us. We wasn't disciplined enough to stay on side because he wasn't going to call the play. But to do that and make that call again to Marcus Freeman and his staff, that was impressive. So I have to give the nod in the coaching staff on this particular day to the Notre Dame team as well. Uh, but we had our moments too. I think Kirby and his defensive team did a awesome job in calling plays defensively. I think we were ready for everything that Notre Dame had, other than Riley Leonard, making plays off script, and that's what I think we had a problem with. Which always hurts UGA as a team, when you got a quarterback that can make plays off script with his legs. All right. So next thing I'm gonna go to play calling. I won't harp on this too much, and I don't know if I can give any team the nod. I think both these teams was pretty even offensively and defensively with the play calling. I think it came down more to special teams and the overall coaching, which I just gave Notre Dame the edge to. So just in offensive, defensive play calling, I really thought they were both pretty equal. I don't think Notre Dame did anything that was out of the norm on offense, and neither did Georgia. Although we did do some things differently schematically because we had a different quarterback. We did add some wrinkles. We did a lot of mixed direction. That those are things that we normally don't do. So shout out to our offensive coordinator for putting in some wrinkles in the offense. So that was pretty cool to see. I see some people in the comments. Shout out to Hall of Fame Jason on College Football Network. Yeah, he agreed. I think we all on the same page with that. Marcus Freeman has done a great job. Like I said, it was a very impressive job. I'm just gonna be. I think I spoke on that. I ain't gonna be pulling on a sack all night. I'm just trying to be as fair as I can be. But no, just real talk. No, he did a great job, man, for sure. Um, Next thing I want to say, man, I'm trying to, I thought about, I think everybody would probably agree with this. Well, maybe not everybody, but there was a play or and series that literally changed this game, and I spoke a little bit about it, which was that 3 minute drive. But within that 3 minute drive, which is a drive within that drive, it was literally, I think, 25 seconds that changed the game. I think it was a 10-point swing, if I'm right. Then you come out in the second half, and the special team, which nobody really talked about in terms of kickoffs. Not in my opinion. I was more concerned about the kicker. They saw both kickers played great too. Both kickers played great. But the kickoff return was just something that, I don't think anybody was prepared for, anybody even thought about, coming out of halftime. Because generally when you kick a ball, you kick it in end zone and it's, touchback. So, again, but I think it was that series. It was 22 seconds in that game that changed that whole game. And please, Georgia fans, stop trying to beat up on the kid who was standing on the sideline. That one play right there did not win or lose the game. Because we were still in the red zone. We still had a chance to score. Now, would we have been much closer? Yes. Would it probably have resulted in something different? Possibly. Who knows? But that one play, we still had many chances after that. You know what I'm saying? So y'all let the kid, be all right. Let's see. We got a question right here. Shawty, do you think it's alarming that Notre Dame was able to match the physicality of the dogs? I spoke about that earlier. I wouldn't say it's alarming. I thought it was surprising, but I wouldn't call it alarming. I mean, they have good players too. I mean, and arguably one of their, best defensive linemen was out. But I think what made it look like it did, Jason, in my opinion, I talk about it all the time. You hear me saying playing 11 on 11 football. And what happened was when they were sending the kind of pressure they was sending, when we had to play a lot of one on one, they found a couple of weak spots, mainly our tackle position, and it hurt us in critical moments. So I wouldn't say that it was alarming, but I just thought it was surprising. But anytime you can play all out like that, I'm gonna be honest with you, Jason. Even if that team is, not as good athletically, at some point in time they're gonna get to the quarterback because you're gonna get beat one on one. But them matching our physicality wasn't alarming, but to me it was actually more surprising. And it kind of hit on some weak areas that we showed throughout the season. Our offensive line, that tackle had been a problem. The tackle in the guard position had been the right guard and the left tackle had been an issue throughout the year. And then we had a couple of unnecessary, false starts, which you can do in Notre Dame. We had to be the coaching or maybe them getting to the quarterback at some point. You know what I'm saying? No excuses. So, we had some issues on the offensive line that reared their head again. So yeah, that would be my answer. Not alarming to me, just more surprising. I would say that. I just thought our offensive line, being the bigger, unit, eventually would be able to open some big seams and gaps, and it just never happened. So that wasn't alarming because that has happened all year long, Jason, in my opinion. Yeah. And I think that, I don't want to get too deep and I'm gonna move on, but I really think I think that happened because when you have a quarterback coming to the season like Carson Beck, you tend to morph more into a passing team. We were more 60-40 pass run this year. And I think we got away from some principles that we need to get back to, which is being more physical and probably being more run, play action kind of team first, especially in the Mike Bobo's type offense. So yeah, but that'll be for another show. Uh okay, Sooner in Texas. So does this season and playoff signal a change in the college football pecking order, or is this one in off season that and the balance will restore soon? Great question, man. Um, so I would say this to that, all the teams that got first round buys lost. And to answer your question, Sooner in Texas, I don't think it's going to be a one and off. Uh, because NIL and the transfer portal it has changed college football just like that in 2 years. Both of those two things combined has changed the landscape just like that. I think there would be more parity where you may not see, say, like the SEC win 15 out of the last 20 years. It'll just be more parity between the SEC and the Big 12. I mean, the Big 10 or the Big 12. They may sneak one in here and there, but no, it's definitely going to be more parity. Yeah, and I don't think that's coming back anytime soon until some things maybe get worked out with NIL and things like that. But even then, you still gonna have the big boys doing what they do. Um, but do I think it's a change in the pecking order? No. I just think it's a shuffling, and it's still the same teams you're gonna shuffle, and you may have added, maybe an extra two, three, four, maybe even. But you're still gonna have the Ohio State, Georgia, Alabama, um, Michigan. Michigan gonna be back. Those you're gonna still have those same top 8 to 10 teams every year. It's just now you can like dice. You can put them in your hand, shake them up, and it'll be the same team, but just in a different order. So I don't know if that answers your question, but in the pecking order, I don't think it changes. It just yeah, yeah. Good question though. I like that. That's a good question. Uh, so you did, and I still say that, coach. Like I say, I think both teams, your offense hadn't seen anything like this. Like once again, I try. I don't want to get into the minutia of the game, but because I have to give you all the credit because you made that play on special teams at the end of the day. But I'm saying a special team playing a turnover, you made that turnover at the end of the day. But I'm saying those are 14 points that you take that away, which once again that was within that 22-second moment. You take 14 away from 23, you got 9. I ain't saying I'm just saying. So, that is true to your question. No, they hadn't seen any kind of physicality like that. And I'm gonna say the opposite side of that. I don't think we had seen any physicality like that. Granted, we were under some different circumstances, but yeah, I don't think we had maybe seen any physicality like that either, besides maybe Alabama from a roster standpoint. Yeah. I don't even think Ole Miss was that physical. They were, but not as physical as Notre Dame and Alabama. So yeah, yeah. Um, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up, man. But the last thing I'm gonna wrap this up with is, do I think Notre Dame will beat Penn State? I'm gonna say yes. And it's not so much about what team I think is more physical or I just think after watching that game, Marcus Freeman is a way much better head coach than Frank. Just that simple. So with that being said, I appreciate everybody who came into the show, man. I just want to give a reaction show, give Notre Dame, the props that they deserve. Also give UGA the props on the season that they deserve. And good luck to everybody else who's still in the playoffs, man. Made it, chips to lay where they fall, man. And with that being said, man, it's just my damn opinion, man. And they like assholes. Everybody got one, and your boy got one too. Shout out to everybody in the comments, man. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, all that good shit, man. We out of here.